Welcome to TigerComp. This is looking at Excel 3. As we start with Excel 3 today, hopefully you have a product that looks very similar to what is on my screen as you open up Excel 2 and then save as and rename it Excel 3. And I'll be doing that at the end when I get to this. Today our goal is to create a chart from the data that we have used, and it's really an awesome feature about Excel. Pay attention, this is going to be important as you're using this skill, not just for this class, but you're going to be using it within science class within the next few weeks also. So I'm going to start by selecting, I'm going to start in A2 and I'm going to go all the way down to F8, just like that. So I have that whole section shaded. Make sure you get everything that I just mentioned, or else your chart isn't going to look too good. All right, we're going to go to the Insert tab, and we're going to go to Charts, and you have all these different options here. If you go to the actual menu, you get a much bigger scheme of what different things are going to look like, so you really understand what's going to happen. You know, you already got previews popping up left and right, and we are going to go with a column chart here, and so you can click on it right there, or you actually could go just to this quick shortcut right here and create that chart right there. I'm going to go ahead and move it down here like this. You see we got some new options here that really weren't in Excel in the past. So these are actually some really nice things that are coming along with it. But we're going to talk about how to use all this stuff within the menu as we go along. Now, as I look at the chart I just created, I got everything exactly where I want it. My y-axis is the scores, my x-axis is the names. Sometimes this gets mixed up, so if you just go up to your data under design, you can actually switch them and change things around like that, but that's not what I want to do, so I'm going to actually switch them back just like that, so we're ready to go. All right, when it comes to adding labels to a chart, 2013 has kind of redesigned the menu a little bit. There used to be a separate tab called Layout, which is, if you're looking at the tutorial, that's the pictures you're going to be seeing is of that tab. But 2013 decided to add that in design and put everything right here in the chart layouts. So you have your different elements right here. And once you see this list, you're going to see it's very almost exactly like what we're seeing in the previous screen or in the tutorial. And then you also have this menu right here in 2013, which can get you to some quick things that you might want to add as time goes on. All right, so as you notice, I went to Elements, I went to a chart title, and I went to Centered Overlay as my option. I'm going to click that again, and I'm going to change the title to Quiz Results. All right. From here, I'm going to go ahead and add my labels on my axes, primary horizontal, primary vertical, getting it done so that I have one that's going to say students and one that says points. All right, so you have those labels there, and I ended up moving my legend over here, which is something we'll get to in a little bit. Though if you just go to quick layouts, you can do that, though you might have to add in your elements later if you do that, the points and the students. As you're looking at your data, you may notice that you have these really big spikes here, and if you're reading this quiz results, you would think, oh man, everyone did really well on these, the gray and the blue line, but these three quizzes they didn't really do so good on. But then when we come over to the legend, we see that quiz 1, quiz 2, test 1, quiz 3, test 2. And our chart is called quiz results, and so we really don't want the test results in there. And so what we want to do is we want to go ahead and edit the data that we're actually putting into our table. So we're going to go up to the data section here. We're going to go to select data, and we're going to get a nice menu coming up here to go ahead and fix some of these different things. So if we're going to get rid of our tests, we can basically uncheck those other three and just click. Well, that's not what I wanted. Oh, now I got to go back and undo. All right, so I just went back into the same menu, rechecked the boxes, and now my table is doing exactly what I want it to be doing from the first place. All right, then if I'm playing around with my chart here, I can sit here, and if I wanted to, I could enlarge it and start changing the sizes of things, and it's going to adjust the axes accordingly because of what is going on. Looks like my axis title got undone accidentally. All right. Now what we can do is we can actually go here and we can set values. So if I right click on this, I can format my axes. And in 2013 all our menus appear over here on the right. And so we can assign major and minor values. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to change my units to 5. Actually, it did that for me. How nice is that? All right. And by doing that, it gives us a different look to the chart, but it's going to keep everything set so that we don't have to worry about this because of what's going on. All right. And if we don't want to see this anymore, we can just click close, and now we're back to our menu here, working with our table, our graph. All right, so we're doing a nice job with our tutorial here. Hopefully you're doing a better job than what I'm showing you. Making the mistakes, not with me, but stopping before you get to them. The last thing we want to do is we want to continue working with making our new chart that we just created really fit the designs that we already put into our table, right? And so we want to go here and we can right click and you can format your chart area, and oops, I forgot everything moves over here. So now we got our borders, and so you can be changing our borders. And I can go solid line. I can make sure I have the correct color. And then I can change the width to what we had in the last tutorial. And I can do that. I can do the same thing right here in my legend, right? If I go over here to solid line, I can make some quick changes there. Simple black border there. So now we got stuff looking real nice. And finally, just for a little bit of fun, I can actually format my axis a little bit, and I can go to the menu here. And so I clicked on the format axis, and now I'm going to go to this symbol, which is alignment. If you're in 2010, it used to actually be an option where you could just go right to alignment right here, but it looks like you got to go right to format axis in 2013. And I can actually create a custom angle here. I'm going to type 45 in there, and you can see the name's moved. Nice and fancy for me. And there we go. I'm going to go back and make sure my stuff is a little more proper. Bold some of my headings just so they stand out a little bit more. And there I have this idea. All right. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is just something about Word. It doesn't necessarily apply to this tutorial, but just for your use with Excel. If I type in the number 2000 or 2014 and I want it to be a date, Excel is going to automatically think of it more as a number. Now, like if you had dates down here in your bottom row, you really wouldn't want it to be thought of as a number. You'd want it really to be thought of as text. And so there's two different ways you can go about in making Excel realize that it's text. One, you can just put an apostrophe in front of the numbers you're going to use, and then Excel says, okay, this is just text. And that allows you to, create scientific graphs, different things like that, with numbers on the bottom instead of names like Sally, Ralph, Pete. All right. The other option is to, right-click in it when you're going to your format cells. And you got your number option here. You can go down here to where it says text. And obviously, that's in the way right now, where it says text. And that's going to do the exact same thing as that apostrophe, and you click OK. All right. This is coming up here because it's saying, what in the world is this doing here? All right. And it's just letting us know that it's text now. All right. That's a helpful hint as you use Excel for the future, especially as it gets applied to in math class, science class, different things like that. All right, so this is what you need to have done for next time. All right, when you hand in Excel 3, all right, I'm going to go ahead and save as, and where am I going with this? I'm going to call this Excel 3 sample, click save, and I'm good to go. All right, change that name. Mine, of course, is an example, and then share it with me. Unless I've told you about the team site, then I want you to hand it into this team site for this assignment. All right, that's it for Excel 3.